Welcome to my debate of the week, and this is about what if Triple H owned GFW? How would it be? Now, I'm going to paint you a picture, ladies and gentlemen. You guys tell me if you're alright with it, or if you think this was just stupid to even consider. Let's say that Mr. I don't know why I'm botching, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Mr. Paul Levesque himself. Let's say next year that NXT was no longer allowed to be run by him, and it becomes an incredibly bad product. Because as it stands right now, NXT has a huge amount of talent, and they're writing for them very well because Triple H is writing for it. Triple H is presenting it himself. Well, I know he has writers there, and he is inputting with the writers. He's the one that's making NXT work. Let's say he wasn't allowed to run NXT anymore, and he was just told to work in the back, and Vince took over and ruined NXT just like he ruined Raw and SmackDown, the main roster. And let's say Triple H just reaches a point, kind of like with Shane McMahon, that he actually does love Vince. Because he has been his father-in-law for many years. He has grandkids. And let's say he tells Vince, I love you, but I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving the company. I'm leaving. I'm not going to work for you anymore. I still love you as my father. My wife is still your daughter, but I just can't work with you no more. And he quits working for WWE. Okay, now let's say this. He has millions of dollars. At least $100 or $200 million easily. And let's say GFW is about $12 to $15 million. Let's say it is. And he looks at GFW and says, you know what? I'm going to try something. I'm going to take over GFW. He has $100 million, and he buys out the people who are running in Anthem, Pop TV, and he takes it over. This is what I think he would do at first. He would do this because this is what I would do. He takes over the company. It's publicized that Paul Levesque, former Hunter Hearst Helmsley himself, has now taken ownership of GFW. And he fires everybody under the sun because he has known people who worked in GFW. Because let's be honest, some of the talent that used to work in WWE has worked in GFW, gone back and forth. And he says he knows the people that are pain in the asses. He knows who are the bad writers. He knows who are bad producers. He knows the ones that truly do not understand how to run this freaking company. So he fires 80% of the people there on the spot, breaks their contract. Done. The next thing he does, he tells Anthem, he says, look, I just got this company. Either you're going to let me run it the way I am, or we're going to pull out. You can break our contract. Anthem doesn't want to break the contract, and they tell him, okay, you're the one who's running it. You're a former WWE guy. You know how to run stuff. What do you want to do? I want to run the first year of TNA. I'm going to run only videos. I know it's been on YouTube and it's been there, but on Pop TV, I'm going to go in front of the people and say, and this is how you would do it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Paul Levesque. You know me as Triple H. Used to work for WWE. I'm now the current owner of GFW. Now, as you already know, GFW's had a lot of problems. It has had bad management. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The management, even though many of them are very committed, just did not know how to run this company properly. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to run this place properly. But I need some time to actually get this company working. So I am taking GFW off the air. In its place, I am going to be running the first season of TNA. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're not switching back to the TNA brand name. But we are going to run TNA old first season, possibly second season videos of what the company was like. Now, every time when the TNA shows, you're going to see a little snippet of myself saying, hello and welcome to GFW's archive. And you're going to know about this episode of TNA. I will be doing this before every show you're going to see. And when we're finished, hopefully by next year, or whenever we get things straightened out, you will have a superior product than what you've had before. And that's it. He pretty much tells the people, look, you know the product sucks. I'm taking it off the air to clean up the mess, clean house, get the proper wrestlers here, get the proper storylines done. You're going to watch the first season of TNA. You know it's good. I'm going to make sure you know what's ahead of time in this episode. And then when we're able to come back on the air, we will. Now, true diehard fans will go for this. And he will also do some merchandise during the time, maybe in between each episode. To let people know I'm getting things done. I want you to know this is going on, but I need your help. Please buy our merchandise. He does this every couple of weeks, not every week. Or every week or two, maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every 3 weeks. He comes on television, tells how things have progressed before the show begins, and says, here, look on the website. This is what we're selling now. This is new GFW merch. This is the old school merch, what they used to have back in 2004, 2003, 2002. You can buy it for this price. Now, this is the way I think he would do it. While that's going on, he's going to fire a majority of the people who ran the company, and he's going to be bringing people in. And while this goes on, he's going to be doing two things. One, he will reorientate the entire show. He will still keep the six-sided ring, because that's what I would do. Not get rid of the six-sided ring. Two, he would find a new place to actually shoot Impact, because they've been doing Orlando, Florida for many years, and the crowd has been one of the major issues. He will find a new place, and he will find a new place that he can actually sell tickets that will be a bigger audience than maybe a couple of hundred, at least a couple of thousand, and then he would periodically book live shows properly. He would book full pay-per-views properly, not themed impacts, full pay-per-views for a good, fair price compared to the WWE, making sure the product is done well. He would also get former WWE and former TNA people that he knew, not what other people told him, but he knew that would be able to produce the product better. I would make sure that he would keep Jeremy Borage on, because he did very well with it. Mike Tenay would be allowed to be kept, but he would do something on YouTube. And this is the thing that I'm sure he would take advantage of, because he's not doing it on the WWE website because there's so much content already. Like I've been saying, X Division will be placed on YouTube because you can't really do it. The knockouts will be placed on YouTube, which will be under the Explosion brand. Basically, he would have two brands. You have Impact and you have Explosion. You would have Impact on the regular pop show, and then you would have Explosion on YouTube. You will be allowed to be able to see an hour and a half instead of maybe 40 minutes or 30 or 50 minutes. Now, of course, you could say, why not just make it an hour? Why? It's YouTube. You can do a little more on YouTube than you can on a regular channel, on television, on a network. So he would probably make it an hour and a half on YouTube and make sure people could see what they're dealing with. Now, when it came to the main show itself, he would make sure that the, how can I say that? Would they keep the Grand Championship? Yes. Because the Impact Grand Championship is not bad a title. It just needs to be sponsored properly. So he would reorientate that. Also, the TNA, which is now the GFW World title, would be presented better. And in pay-per-views, you would see both Explosion brand and you would see Impact brand work together. You would not, and I repeat, you would not do a monthly thing like the WWE does with SmackDown Raw. You would do once every 2 months, and this would give each brand itself more time. There would be a 3-month gap for each brand. So every 2 months you would see Impact. Then the next 2 months you would see Explosion. They would have their own separate things, and there would be a 2-month gap between, so they would be able to work together. And in between, they would have Genesis, they would have Slammiversary, they would have Bound for Glory. There will be no others. You have Genesis, you have Slammiversary, and you have Bound for Glory. 3 different spots in a year. That's 4 months separating each. And within those 4 months, there are 2 pay-per-views, which will be for GFWs. I'm getting them kind of mixed up. There's so much trying. I'm thinking at the same time. You would have every 2 months, you would see Impact, and every 2 months you would see Explosion, and that is how you would do it. Spread it out enough. I don't know why I said 3 months. It's every 2 months, sorry. You would spread it out so there would be enough time to build the characters up so when it came to the pay-per-views, it would mean something. And then every 4 months, each one of them would have a match together. That's how he would probably do it. Now, would he go up head-to-head with WWE? No. He wouldn't even try to care about WWE. WWE is not what he would care about. Yes, he want to make his... I know a lot of people will say, this is Paul Levesque. The guy has one hell of a big ego. He wants to go up against WWE. He would only go up against WWE if he knew he had a chance to make sure the company would be run properly. As it stands, as real life, the company's a big mess because it's on Pop. And WWE is on USA. The only way that he would stand a chance to get anything done, he would have to be on a major network. And he would have to go to one of the major networks that would show his product. And he's not going to get that if he's still dealing with Pop. So he wouldn't care about trying to do anything with the WWE or try to match them. He would go off on another day and make sure his product wasn't even in the same time period. So he would have more time. He would do it during the day. And then he would make sure Pop TV would show a repeat of it at night. So you would see the same show twice. One maybe at 4 or 5 o'clock, and you would have 2 hours. And then again later in the night by 10, 11, 12, you would see it again. That's how he would try to build things up. That's what I would do. I would try and do it in different ways, not to overlap the WWE, because once you overlap the other company, you always get buried. And I do believe that that's what he would do. Now, would Stephanie go with him? My belief is no. Stephanie would not be working at GFW. Yes, she loves her husband, but she would probably still be working for Vince because she would eventually take over. Because let's be honest, if Paul's not there, it's going to be Shane, it's going to be Stephanie. And if Shane's not going to get it, it's going to be Stephanie. So Shane and Stephanie, at this time, in this kind of idea, Vince would still be running it. Shane and Steph would still be in similar positions as executives. They would not leave the company, but Paul would be doing this. He would have a lot of time. He would be able to do what he wants. And he can make it something like Lucha Underground, where there'll be maybe a month or 2 lag of no show. And you would see reruns. And then you would have shows for 3 or 4 months. A little break in between, giving the talent some rest, letting him to be with his family, and making sure that the talent, the workers in the back, himself, and the fans would have something interesting to care about. This is what I think Paul Levesque, Triple H, would do if he ran GFW. Now, if you want me to come up with a storyline how he could try and beat Vince and beat WWE, leave a comment below and ask me, and I'll see if I can come up with something about that. So have a good day, have a good night, and I hope you enjoyed this idea of Triple H, the King of Kings, taking over GFW. Peace.